Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK back at you with another video here to predict the 5-game CS:GO main slate on Thursday. Before I get into the video, if you're new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos breaking down NBA, NFL, and esports daily fantasy sports slates. Esports including League of Legends, Call of Duty, and this one Counter-Strike CS:GO. So before we get into players and their prices for the 5-game main slate, let's take a look at my lineups here from Wednesday. So in the later slate for Wednesday, got into the cash here. Put Vinny as my captain, brought him up as a potential value there with Furia so heavily favored. It was actually a close game. Went to 3 maps. Game and kept it close. So in this one, I put Vinny, K-Serrato, and Yuri. Paired him with KNGV Fur. And Stewie 2K, that was a really big surprise there. I did mention, I wasn't necessarily agreeing with that line of how heavily favored Team Liquid was over Envy. And I think it was like minus 900 Team Liquid, honestly. And Envy 2-0'd them pretty easily, too. So, got in the cash there. If I would have avoided Stewie 2K, probably could have been a much bigger day. And in my main slate lineup, it was just, again, the Liquid guy that really held me back. NAF, obviously, again, they got 2-0'd. No one played good there on Team Liquid. Yuri was okay. Expected a little bit more for him. Same thing with Fur. Him and Yuri, I really like their prices. They were just subpar today. Art and Vinny are really solid for value. And then Config for the main slate, it brought him up as being one of my favorite value plays. So, all in all, it's about a break-even day for me with the late slate cash and the main slate a little bit short. Again, like I said, there were some big upsets. So, it was Envy, the 2-0 over Team Liquid. Just goes to show, again, anything can happen in CS:GO. And, stacking an underdog team is not the worst idea. If you guess right and you stack the right underdog team, you are in an amazing shape. So I believe, what was the winning lineup? I believe it had like 3 Envy players. Let's see. No, we only had 1. Okay. A couple of the other ones had a couple Envy players, but I guess the winning lineup only had 1, Michu and the captain. He had Fur, KNVG, Zywoo, Brolin, and JW. And then, what was the... again, I was just watching the game. Furia versus... that was close. Gaming almost pulled off the upset, and I think it was Furia, like, minus 1,600 in that one. So, just crazy. Contact took it to 3 games against Mouse Esports. Copenhagen took it to 3 games against G2. Fnatic barely held out against Heretics. It was... a lot of the underdog teams definitely have, chances to win, and we've seen it basically every single day here with a big underdog pulling through and winning. I feel like if you just bet the underdogs the last 4 or 5 days for CS:GO, you've probably made some good amount of money. There's been, again, some huge upsets. All right, but that basically wraps it up for the look back on Wednesday. Let's take a look at Thursday's main slate. I'm not going to be breaking down the 3-game early slate, just going to be focusing on the main slate here. So we have the Copenhagen Flames versus North. North are minus 215 favorites. Movistar Riders versus G2. G2 pretty significant favorites here at minus 475. Ninjas in Pajamas versus Astralis. Astralis are minus 345 favorites. GenG and Cloud9. I think this one is going to change the complexity of the slate here. There are some cheap players on both those teams that I think if you guess right, if you guess the winning team, you could be in for a really good day there. So I think that game could swing the slate here. And then Triumph versus Evil Geniuses. EG are the biggest favorites of the day here at minus 850. All right, let's start with the first game here. Astralis versus Ninjas in Pajamas. I really like the Astralis side once again. Device is at 9.4K. If you have the money to get to him, I think he's a good option. He's their ADP'er. He has a good amount of upside. He's flashing good consistency. Again, Astralis are pretty decent favorites here. So Device is a guy that obviously looks good as a spot up if you can get to him. But I think I prefer a couple guys below him. Magix is fine as well at 8.4K, but the price tags here for Zipex and Dupree really stand out for me. Zipex at 7.2, Dupree at 7K. I like both those guys a good amount. The one downside you can say about Astralis is they're a pretty balanced team. Yeah, so normally when I target Astralis players, I usually look at the cheaper players. Even Glave, he's actually had some upside recently as well. I think he is still viable. Last 4 games, just look at that: 73, 55, 72, and 68 fantasy points. So I really do like a lot of Astralis here. I think my favorite plays would be Zipex and Dupree for the prices. Don't even mind Glave, though, if you want to get all the way down at the bottom. Device at the top, if you can get to him, that's fine. If you want to run like a 2 or 3 man stack with Astralis and pair him, that's completely fine with me. But my preferred plays here for their prices would be Zipex and Dupree. Let's look at the other side here. So, Ninjas in Pajamas team, they are dogs. But again, we've seen a lot of upsets recently here in CSGO. Only plus 245. So there's definitely a chance they can take this to 3 games or even pull off the upset. I think my favorite play on this side would be Plopsky at 5.8K. He has actually had the most fantasy points per game. How many games do they have up here on Draftkings? I don't know, 6, 7 games they have. And you're getting him at a discount off those guys at the top. Now, Knock and Rez have been solid recently, but I still think I'd prefer getting to Plopsy as my favorite play there on this side. If you want to pair, again, if you want to go for the upset and pair a couple of those Ninjas and Pajamas guys, I think Plopsy, if maybe one of those guys at the top, would probably be the way that I would go. All right, let's move on to the next game here, G2 versus Movistar Riders. On the G2 side, there's a decent amount to like here. They're pretty big favorites. I believe the second biggest of the day. Yep, minus 475, whereas EG are the biggest in the day. So it's really, I have interest in all these guys, to be honest. Nexa is at 9.6K. He is their most expensive player. I think he's perfectly fine if you get to him. I like Hunter a good amount as well, but you're going to have to pay premiums for those guys. Now, if we're just, again, going off those first 2 guys at the top, I would slightly give the edge to Hunter. I think he has a little bit more upside than Nexa. Kenny S, you're getting him at a discount off those guys at the top, Nexa and Hunter. He's their AD peer. Maybe he doesn't have as much upside, but in a win here, in a 2-0 win, you probably expect him to get about 70 or so fantasy points. I think he's a pretty solid option there. I don't even mind Jax either at 6.6K. I think he's a pretty good value option here. Again, he's not going to put up like 100 fantasy points, but you can expect, if they 2-0 Movistar Riders, which you would expect that they should, 50, 60 fantasy points isn't out of the question here. So I think Jax is someone I'm looking to for value. Even Armanek, not a guy, again, that has huge upside, but the price tag of 5.4K and they're huge favorites. There's really not a whole lot of bad things to say about G2. It's just, what kind of fits in your roster construction, right? Do you want to spend up for one of those 2 guys at the top? Or do you want to get some value here with, Jax and Armanek at the bottom? Kenny S in the mid-tier I think is fine as well. So, I do like G2 a good amount. I think you can run like a 2 or 3 man stack here since they are pretty big favorites. But again, you never really know. We've seen huge upsets here last 2 days, FaZe going down. We saw Team Liquid going down. We saw, Mouse Esports going down. I think it was on Sunday. So, that kind of wraps up for the G2 side. And the Movistar Riders side, if you want to get risky here, Alex is the guy that has the most upside in my opinion. In that game against FaZe, put up 72 fantasy points, 58 and 48. He's someone that is going to be contrarian play, but we've seen a lot of upsets recently, so I have some interest there as a contrarian option. Steel will be the other guy here at 6K. Kind of had a off game there against FaZe, but before that, 74 and 79 fantasy points. So those would be the 2 guys to look to on the Movistar Rider side with Alex and Steel. If you want to get risky and hope for the upset, those would probably be the pairing that I would go with. Next up, we can talk about North and Copenhagen. So on the North side, I think AZ at the top at 9.8K makes for an interesting contrarian play. It just, he's going to be so low owned because I don't think he's worth this price tag, but the off chance that he can go off at like 1% ownership, sure. Again, he's probably going to be a void for me just because of that price. I think Gade here, or Gade, I believe is how you pronounce it, at 5.8K. I think he makes for an interesting value option here. This game, again, is projected to stay pretty close. North are minus 215 favorites over Copenhagen. So those are probably the 2 guys I would look to there on the North side. would be Gade. Again, I don't think I would get to AZ actually, just because of that price tag. It just makes an interesting dart throw for tournaments. I think he's probably going to be 1% owned. But let's move on to Copenhagen Flames here. So Farlig is a guy that obviously is viable here. Kind of had a subpar game there against G2, only 44 fantasy points. He's a little bit up and down, but we know in those wins he does have that upside. He's another one of those really low-owned guys that if you want to get risky, you can take a shot on. Am I going to do it? Probably not, but we've seen the upside from him recently. If you want to pair Farlig with one of these cheap value options, maybe Queenix at 4.6. I mean, he's put up 43, 38, 45 fantasy points the last 3 games, 45 against a good team in G2. So, yeah, if you want, again, that's more of a contrarian build, but still is viable. Next game here. So this is the game I think is going to swing the slate. The C9 versus GenG game. It's projected to stay really close. GenG are slight favorites there at minus 130. But, yeah, if we just look at the C9 prices here, right? OC is the highest priced guy at 7.8K. Floppy at 7.6K. You got MOTM at 6K. These guys are pretty cheap, and when C9 are favorites, when they're pretty heavy favorites, we've seen Floppy in the 9 to 10K range. We've seen OC in the 9K range. We've seen MOTM in the 8K range. So you're getting these guys at a pretty big discount, and this is a game they can definitely win. So again, I think this is the game that's going to swing the slate, which side you guess right on, whether it be C9 or GenG. I like the C9 side a good amount if you want to go that way for their price tags. Floppy, again, I know him and MOTM the other day were letdowns for me. It was actually OC and Sonic that went off. I think I'll go back to the well with Floppy and MOTM again, though, personally. Again, it's a pretty close call with Floppy and OC at the top. I'm just going to give that edge personally to Floppy. Then Sonic versus MOTM. Again, I'm going to give the slight edge to MOTM, even though Sonic had the better game last game. So yeah, like I said, this is a team I think is very, very interesting, and if they can pull off a win, if they can pull off a 2-0 win, like a surprising 2-0, you could see some huge scores out of these guys. So again, this is why I think this game is going to swing the slate. It's really important to guess right on this one. On the GenG side, it's kind of the same thing, right? The price tags: Costa 8K, Bennett 7.2K, Automatic at 6.8, SOM at 6.2. So yeah, like I said, this is a game where, you could honestly even stack it if you want to. If you think it's going to be a really close 2-1 game, run 2 players in one team and maybe one in the other. Don't hate that idea just because of how cheap these guys are. So I think my favorite play for his price would probably be Bennett here at 7.2K. Just flashed a lot of upside recently. 60, 63, 85, and 90 fantasy points the last 4 games. Now, there haven't been... It's kind of frustrating. Draftkings, for some reason, doesn't put, or on some teams doesn't have the recent games, but on others they do. But Bennett is a guy that has flashed a good amount of upside, and you're getting him at a pretty big discount here at 7.2K. Automatic as well at 6.8K. Don't even mind SOM. So, like I said, this is the swing game in the slate. If you guess right here, if you get at the winning side, whether it be the C9 or the GenG side, again, it's almost a coin flip. But if you guess right and get 2 or even 3 players from that team, you're probably going to be in really, really good shape. Just because, again, both teams are really, really cheap salaries. Last game here, we have EG versus Triumph. EG are the biggest favorites of the day here at minus 850. But like I said, just wanted to bring up one more time. I sound like a broken record. FaZe were minus 1,000 favorites the other day. Team Liquid was almost minus 1,000 favorites today, and they both got upset. So, on the EG side, Breezy is at the top at 10.2K. I think if you can get to him, he makes for a pretty decent option. He's their main slayer. He's obviously the guy that has the most upside. But do you need him on the slate? I don't know. Like I said, if you have enough salary to get to him, I'm fine with it. I just don't know if I'm going to go out of my way to pay up for him. Cirque, his price tag's even coming up at 9K. He's their ADPer. He's been fine. I think he's a pretty safe option. But again, the price tag is creeping up there. I think, with Ethan, Tarek, and Stanislaw, I think a guy like Tarek here at 6.4K, I kind of like that price tag. Now, he doesn't have as much upside as Breezy and Cirque at the top, certainly, but he's 6.4K, and this is a game EG should pretty easily win. So he's kind of in the same field as, guys like Jax, guys like Armanic. That's kind of where I'm looking at for some value there. But again, like I said, there's a lot of value in the C9 GenG game. And then finally on the Triumph side, again, you can't count out anyone. Grimm would be the guy, again, if you want to get risky and hope Triumph can take it to 3 games, or maybe they can pull off the upset. Grimm is a guy that has flashed that upside, 60, 70 fantasy point upside. You could pair him with probably Curry would be my favorite play, other favorite play in Triumph, 5.2K. But again, that's more of a contrarian build if you want to get risky. So, all in all, brief recap. Guys I'm looking at targeting for the captains. I think for a cash game setting, right, if we're just talking about safety, just talking about cash games, I think the guys in the G2 side, guys like Nexa, Hunter, Kenny S, they seem pretty safe. The Astralis guys, right, there's a lot of guys I think are a little bit underpriced. Device, you're kind of paying a premium. I think my preferred plays there would be Zipex and Dupree. So I like both those guys a good amount for kind of more of a safe cash game approach. Again, that C9 GenG game, that's going to flip the slate. I think that's the key game. Again, I really talked about liking Zipex and Dupree. If you're looking for like a cash game, a captain, even guys like cheaper guys here, right? Like Jax, I think is a pretty solid, safe play for captain. Don't even mind Tariq there, e.g. pretty big favorites. Again, Glave, he stepped up his game recently. The Astralis side, there's really not a whole lot of downside unless you think they get upset, which definitely is possible. Gade at 5.8K. North are favorites, and he's pretty cheap price tag. I think he's a pretty good value option. Don't even mind Armanek here. So that's where I'd be looking to for on the captain side if you're just looking for safety, right? If we're looking for low-owned, high-upside guys, so those are the guys that most likely are going to be like the underdogs, right? So like a Farlig, right? 10K, that's a lot to pay for him, but we've seen 70, 80 fantasy points from him in wins. I think a guy like Alex, right? The Movistar riders, they're pretty big dogs, but in wins, this guy has some upside. That C9 GenG game, right? There's a lot of guys that I think you can put in the captain spot. OC, Floppy, Kusta, Bennett, Automatic. MOTM even at 6K. So Plopsky, I mean, he's my favorite Ninjas in Pajamas guys. He's at, 5.8K. So that's kind of where I would look to if you're looking for more of a low-owned, high-upside guy. But yeah, I think that is going to do it for the video, guys. So if you have been enjoying the content so far, would really appreciate if you can take a couple seconds out of your day, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really does help me out to be able to provide you guys free content every day. Again, I'm going to continue to grind out these esports videos until we get regular sports back, and maybe, who knows, maybe I'll continue the esports videos as well when regular sports return. But I hope you guys are all doing well. Hope you guys are all staying safe, staying healthy, obviously. And yeah, thanks again for everyone to come and check the video. I really do appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you all in the next one.